Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my brother from the same mother, my actual brother, my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. But you can't be pausing like that. The people want to hear me. You need to introduce me a little quicker.
I'm going to have to ask you a small favor on this show. I'm some kind of sick, but not like, I'm not real sick, but my head is super congested, mostly on this side, so I can barely hear you. Which I know talking loud is not a problem for you, but I just want to remind you, don't let your volume dip because... What?
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Yeah, I barely heard that. So I'm going to need you to kind of focus on the volume today. And if I get too loud, let me know.
It's kind of like when your ears are clogged up or you're listening to like music on the headphones and you try to act like you're talking in a normal voice.
Yeah, but you're really
You're really not.
I know my kids don't care. My kids are like, sick or not sick. That's just the way he is. So, hey, I know we don't talk a lot of politics on here, but I want to talk politics today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so get ready.
Grab him by the...
That's no. So, I was home Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
And this lady who is running for a seat on the House of Representatives stopped by the house to ask for my vote.
Okay.
So this is the story. It's a special election for this seat because apparently the person who was in that seat has vacated and moved on to do something else. So there are 6 from one party and 1 from the other party, 7 people running for this one seat. And she said that if someone gets more than 50% of the vote on election day, then that person wins. If not, they go into a runoff regardless of the party. So if they both come from the same party, they have a runoff so that one person gets more than 50%. A special election.
Wow. I've never heard of that. Like someone coming to your door to,
I know.
Kind of, sounds like she was trying to buy a vote maybe.
Well, that's my problem. She didn't, she didn't really put anything right
in
here,
the palm of your hand.
In the palm of my hand. Right? Because if I'm going to give her my vote, which is in this palm,
right,
I need something in this palm, right?
Were you waiting for like a high five or something? Or
like a plate of beans or some shit. Don't come empty-handed.
Winter's coming. We need to make, eat
There's some pork and beans or something, like when you come over to my house, you usually bring something.
Right. I
don't invite you very often. It's usually for some kind of event. You bring some. This shit came empty-handed. Wow. What kind of shit is that? How does she expect to get any votes?
That's a political violation. I mean, she's no politician then if she's not bribing you.
She's not a politician?
If she's not bribing.
That's a good point. Maybe she's not a politician. Maybe she's an imposter. What the hell?
But I've never heard of that. Like someone, that's running.
I've heard of people campaigning on behalf of somebody, but I've never had like the actual candidate come to my door.
Well,
on a Saturday afternoon when I'm trying to watch football.
I mean, that's like freaking Garrett Cole coming to your house right now, wanting your Cy Young vote. Although
I'd give it to him.
Although you really don't vote, but
well, I'm not going to vote on election day either. But she took the chance. Actually, no. In all seriousness, I do vote. I always vote because you got to rock the vote, man.
Rock the vote.
Plus, if you don't vote, you don't get one of those little cute little stickers that you get to walk around with all day that say, I voted. True. So that then people can know it's your fault.
Yep, it's your fault.
All right, what do you want to talk about first? I mean, aside from politics.
Shit. I'd say baseball because we're in the playoffs.
It's heating up.
We had a long game last night.
I enjoyed every minute of it. Look, this is my World Series. I thought all season long, and maybe even before the season I thought this, I'm not sure. All season long, I thought the Yankees and the Astros are the two best teams in baseball. With all due respect to the Dodgers, who were in the conversation all year long, but now obviously are out of the conversation. So to me, this is a World Series. I'm not saying that they're automatically going to win the World Series because anything can happen between now and 2 weeks from now when it's all said and done. But to me, this is the best series that we could have gotten in the playoffs. This is the very best series. It's unfortunate that they're both in the American League. I would have rather seen it in the World Series. But this, to me, the two best teams, 7 games going to go head-to-head. It's 1-1 right now, and quite frankly, I expect it to go back and forth until we get to a Game 7, and one team will prevail.
So you're saying you're not watching the World Series?
No, I'm still going to watch it because I'm a baseball junkie. But
I know.
But I'll be honest, I'm not going to be nearly as excited for the World Series as I am for this series.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best two teams left standing. I'm still a believer that the Yankees don't have the pitching to go to win the series. I don't think their hitting is good, but I mean, other than that, I just don't see their pitching other than Tanaka being that great. I don't think the Astros are scared of them. And it was great that Carlos Correa hit that home run. I think it's great for him because he's kind of had like a quiet season, I feel.
Well, he's been injured a lot.
And to
be fair, he's only played. I think he only played 75 games in the regular
season.
Season.
So I think this is a big. That was a big confidence booster for him.
The other thing that I think is very important from last night's game, I think the way the first 2 games went, it feels like the Yankees are the better team. Or not the better team, but the team that's going to prevail in the series because I think they're very evenly matched. But one thing to watch out for, George Springer hit a home run last night. He's had a terrible postseason so far. Hit a home run last night. If he gets on track, look out. Because then all of a sudden the difference in hitting will not be that great. And then we'll see the difference in pitching really come through.
People forget he was the World Series MVP in 2017, exactly. Right?
And he really is... in a lot of ways, he is the spark plug for that team. Not just because he's a leadoff hitter. There's something about that guy in that clubhouse that gets everybody jacked up. And obviously, if Correa finds his way as well, finds his timing and whatnot, it could be very difficult for the Yankees.
Yeah.
What's your take so far in the series?
Well, Stanton is out too. I wonder how much that will affect the Yankees. I mean, that's a big bat in the lineup. He's got knee issues, so he might not even play a couple games.
Is it a knee issue now?
I thought so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the game 1 was a blowout pretty much, but the Astros came out real flat. Tanaka was dealing, and the Astros bats just really couldn't hit the ball. And I honestly think the Astros are going to make quick work of this. I really, I don't think the games will be close, but the Astros are better to me than the Yankees.
I disagree that they're going to make quick work of it, only because I don't believe in Greinke in these playoffs. Greinke hasn't been quite right in the playoffs, and Verlander was okay last night, but he had points where he struggled, and I think the Severino-Garrett Cole matchup for Game 3 is going to be fantastic. And the Yankees have a better bullpen, I believe, than the Astros. So
yeah, that back end of the bullpen's pretty good. If they get a lead,
it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough either way. But I plan on watching every single pitch of it.
Astros a favorite actually in Game 3.
Yeah, well, Garrett Cole. I mean, is he not your Cy Young Award winner for 2019?
I mean,
in the American League?
Possibly, but I mean, the Yankees at home. The Yankees. It's not like the Yankees. I mean, they're pretty evenly matched. So I would expect.
Yeah, but home field advantage is not as big a deal in baseball as it is in, say, football.
I wonder who was favorite the first 2 games.
The Astros were favored in both games.
Okay, so then they should be favored again. If home field advantage doesn't matter, they should be favored.
Yeah, I think starting pitching plays a bigger role than home field advantage.
Yeah, but I
Just
mean,
one
like
man's opinion.
yeah, but the Yankees bull lineup is, I mean, pretty loaded.
But yeah, but
I think they're more loaded than the Astros lineup.
yeah, but you know how the saying goes, right? Momentum is your next momentum in baseball is your next starting pitcher. A starting pitcher can change everything, obviously.
Yeah.
And Garrett Cole's the best right now. I mean,
So-
he has been sick this postseason.
So, do you think that was a makeup call last night on Gary Sanchez in the top of the 11th inning?
No,
You don't think so?
no, I don't believe in makeup calls.
But the umpires weren't calling that outside. I mean, that ball was clearly outside the zone, right? So, and he clearly missed the ball. Like, that was strike. He struck out twice that at bat. So, I mean, that was a makeup call. I think the umpire knew he missed that.
I don't know. They were calling. I thought last night they were calling high and outside.
Yeah, but this one was like outside. I mean, it was
Yeah,
clearly
it was a little bit
outside
further
the
than
zone.
most. I agree, but
And Sanchez clearly missed, like swung and missed. I mean, there was no way around that.
yeah, I don't know.
I think the umpire knew that, and
was gonna ring him up on anything.
if it was close enough, yeah. I mean, and then that one was close enough according to the strike zone on the TV.
Oh,
But
don't get me started on that strike. That strike zone on TV is garbage.
I'll say this about the umpires. I'm gonna defend the umpires real quick. I don't know if they're getting a delay call or something. They must have an earpiece. They're pretty spot on this year with calling the strike. Like, however I see it on TV and the little strike zone, they are spot on in calling balls and strikes. I mean, even if it's a little off outside of the strike zone, they call it a ball. If it's right on the black, they call it a strike.
Yeah, look, well, these are obviously the best umpires baseball has. I mean, they bring out nothing but the best for for these series once you get to this point. But I think that honestly, I think that strike zone, I would like the option of watching the game without that little box there, because I think it's bullshit. It doesn't go high enough. Altuve is the only one that has a normal strike zone on there, because all the strike zones stop at the belt. That's not the strike zone. The strike zone is up to the letters.
It's probably a little difficult to see too with the camera angle that they give us behind the pitcher. We really, I don't think we get,
because it's higher.
It's a little higher. I don't think we get a real
Yeah,
accurate.
maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but
I see what you're saying.
I think the box is
Yeah.
bull duty.
Maybe it's the box is there for the umpire to see.
Well, the umpire can't see the box.
I know.
Let me guess. You think the football players on the football field can see the yellow first down line?
They can't? How come they go? What?
I wonder when they're gonna implement that technology so that it's easier across the entire field, because you see it a lot of times. It makes a huge difference on the sideline, right? Because they can see the marker. I wonder how long before they put something underneath the field that just
It
a
lights
bright
up
light, yeah,
like
that just kind of rolls back and forth.
as
That'd be
bright
pretty
as
cool.
this light that we have.
Yeah.
Shining on us.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I want that to happen. And then on the other side, we've got the Nationals and the Cardinals. Let's go back to Game 5, right? We had
Which one?
we had 2 Game 5s that day. And it was, I was super excited because I love those elimination games. And that first Game 5 lasted 15 minutes because the Cardinals hung 10 on the Braves in the first inning, and there was nothing else to watch after that. You just had to wait for the Dodgers and Nationals game. But so now we've got the Nationals and the Cardinals, and the Nationals are pretty much handling the Cardinals lineup right now. They're barely scoring, and I think the Cardinals are in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, the Nationals have surprised me a bit. I think they've surprised everybody because their bullpen is not that good, but when they've been put in position to pitch, they've pitched well. And their lineup is pretty decent. The Cardinals just need to put the ball on the bat or put the bat on the ball. But
it would help if the Nationals put the ball on the bat for them.
Yeah, or put it on a tee or something. I don't know. On a tee.
I tell you what.
I mean,
early in the Dodgers series, we saw Martinez employ this strategy where he's taken his 4 starters and he's paired them up so that they work together. So Scherzer, in the first series, it was Scherzer and Strasburg, where Scherzer started, and if he got into a tight situation, he brought in Strasburg in a high leverage situation to help out the bullpen. And then he's doing it with Corbin and Sanchez. I personally think it's a brilliant move. I thought it was brilliant when he did it against the Dodgers, and it's continued to look like a brilliant move. This looks like that move. This looks like one of those moves like last year when Alex Cora with the Red Sox could do no wrong, right? Like he just, every button he pushed seemed to work. And this is starting to feel that way. And it makes sense with their bullpen to do it. I think it's something that could work the rest of the series. We'll see what happens if they make it to the World Series against more formidable bats like the Astros and the Yankees. But what do you think about the move?
Short term it could work for this series. I don't know. I don't like that. I like to save my starters. And I mean, at this point, trust your bullpen. I mean, why not?
Yeah, but that bullpen's terrible. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, then what are you gonna do when, one of the pitchers, the starters has a hiccup and you're forced to go to the bullpen?
Well, he's still going to the bullpen. He's just not relying on them for 2 and 3 innings. He's only relying on them for an inning or 2. He's basically taking an inning away from the bullpen and giving it to one of his other starters to come in relief. I don't think it's something that you can do all year long, right? But certainly in a series, I think it could work. Because here's the other thing, too. The more, let's say, for argument's sake, let's say this series is going to go 7 games. Let's just say that, right? Mm-hmm. One of the disadvantages that the bullpen has in a 7-game series is everybody sees them, and maybe sees them twice, and maybe even sees them a third time. And by the very nature of the way these bullpen guys are, they throw their best stuff, boom, right from the jump, right? Because they're in for an inning. They're not going to make it through the whole lineup. Whereas a starter like a Verlander or, whoever, they know they're going to have to see this guy again. And so they work at bats knowing that they're going to see him again. Right. And then when they see him the second time, they're thinking about, well, last time I did this to him, now I'm going to try to do this to him. So, if you know or if you anticipate a series, which I think you have to anticipate a series going 7 games, if you anticipate a series going 7 games, you don't want those guys to see your bullpen guys, especially when they're not that good. You don't want them seeing them as much as maybe you would during the regular season because it's a 3-game series and then they don't see him for a week or a month or however long it is. I think it's a brilliant move.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well work out in their favor. I think the Nationals have been pretty lucky here lately. Just going into the playoffs, they did their part, right? They won. They were able to, the Mets cooled off, the Phillies cooled off, then they get a wild card game, no Yelich, the guy makes an error, and then you get freaking Kershaw, who's been a choke artist here lately, and, what's his name, Brian Roberts or whatever, Dave Roberts.
I feel bad for Kershaw. I feel like his playoff performances are just going to so overshadow how good of a pitcher he is. It's a shame.
Maybe not. Just because I think he was so great at being a starting pitcher.
Look, how do we think of a pitcher like Curt Schilling? We think of him as one of the most dominant pitchers ever. Yeah. And his regular season numbers are impressive, but not the way we think about him. And we think about him the way we think about him because of what he did in the postseason. Yeah. And so it's, I just hope it doesn't work out that way for Kershaw because I think he's really good. And let's face it, he is on the other side of his career now. He's on the downslope of his career. what they asked him to do in that game against the Nationals, it was a tall order, I think.
Yeah, that and Joe Kelly pitching. I mean, I don't know why the hell.
So right now you're thinking the Astros and who in the World Series?
The Cardinals, man. I got to roll with the punches. I mean, that's the two teams.
I think the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to be out in 5. I think their lineup is. It's just not. It's not firing. Something's not right.
I'll tell you what.
They have not hit great in this entire postseason, except for that one inning against the Braves.
They better get to Strasburg really early tonight because Strasburg is a really good playoff pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the best one on that staff.
He probably is.
Right now, because Scherzer, I still think, is battling a little bit of injury.
Yeah, but Scherzer always likes to pitch. He'll pitch you 6 really solid innings, but he'll give up that one big clutch home run somewhere around there. But yeah, no, Strasburg is their best pitcher right now. So Cardinals better find a way to score early on.
I picked the Astros before the season started, but I'm a little bit worried about that pick.
Did you bet money?
No.
Well, then you shouldn't be worried.
Right now, you're right. I'm really not worried when you stop and think about it. But the Yankees right now look like the better team right now. I don't think they are on paper. I don't think if they played 50 games, I think the Astros would win 26 and the Yankees 24. But I feel like right now for a week or week and a half, however long this series goes, the Yankees feel like the better team. The Astros bats have not quite been in sync here in the postseason so far. They didn't hit great against Tampa. They're not hitting great against the Yankees. They managed to steal a game last night where they left a lot of men on base, and lucky for them, Verlander and the bullpen did the job.
Oh, and
otherwise,
what about the third base coach sending LeMahieu on that play?
I don't have a problem with it.
Oh, that's a horrible. There's no way you can send him there. Not even if, I mean, that ball, from his angle, I don't know. I'm not there, but from the angle that they showed the audience at home, that ball didn't go far at all. I think it went far enough away that sending him was the right thing. I just don't think I don't think Correa caught his eye that he was going over there. And Correa was playing pretty far over. I think he was playing a little bit towards third base. He was in his natural position. No, it got hit to second base. That ball got hit to second base.
I know. And it squirted pretty far away from Altuve.
Oh.
And I think it squirted far enough away that he did the right thing in sending him. I think what he didn't see or didn't notice was how quickly Correa was making the move towards that ball.
Well, for one, Correa is faster than LeMahieu, and for two, that ball doesn't get out of the dirt. You got to hold the runner. You can't send him.
And on that angle, it's tough.
You can't send him there in that. I think you got to play it a little conservative, knowing that you have the lineup that you have.
Yeah,
I think you got to play it conservative at that point.
I can see that, but if you recall though, and maybe his angle, at field level is a little bit different than ours. That ball pops up in the air quite a bit, so maybe he did think that Altuve missed it and it went into the outfield, and so he was. And I also lay a little bit of blame on LeMahieu because, look, it was a full count with 2 out. He should have been flying on the pitch. Not that he would have been safe anyway, but because Correa got him pretty good, but
he's not that fast. He was out by a lot.
Yeah, he was out by a lot. But
yeah, I would assume he was running. So he was running at his. He was going. So, but he's just not that fast.
I don't feel like he was going, or maybe I expected him to be faster. And if he's going harder, right? Like in my scenario, if he's going harder. Puts a little more pressure on Correa to make a good throw. Puts a little more pressure on Chirinos to catch the ball and make the tag. Things happen.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a huge problem with it. Certainly in the aftermath of the game, hindsight being 2020. Yeah, but I mean, if he'd have held him up, I wouldn't have had a problem with it either. I guess is my point.
So who do you think? Do you think this goes 7? Astros and Yankees?
Yeah. I think it goes 7. And ironically, I think if it goes 7, the advantage flips back to the Astros because they'll have Cole on the mound for Game 7.
Yeah.
And to me, Cole is just, that guy's just lights out.
He's never pitched in a Game 7.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But he's doing some shit, man. He's striking people out with every pitch.
Yeah.
He's having an amazing season, really.
True that.
The other thing going on over the weekend, of course, is football. Good old NFL. And I'm sure that after week 6 of the NFL season, you have it all figured out.
Of course.
Tell me what you figured out over the first 6 weeks of the season. Because I'll tell you what I figured out.
I don't have to figure anything out. It's a week-to-week league.
I figured out that I have nothing figured out. My goodness.
Yeah, man, that's the beauty of the NFL, man. Just don't know who's gonna win. You just don't know.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on. The Chiefs were 4-0. Rams and Cowboys were 3-0. And since then, those 3 teams have gone a combined 0-8.
Jeez. Yeah, I don't know what's going on either because the first 2 or 3 weeks of the ESPN Pick'em Challenge, I did double-digit wins, right? 10, 12, 11, and then 5, 6. So you just don't, that's proof right there that you just don't know what's going to happen.
I've been in last all season long.
Yeah.
I haven't figured anything out at this point.
Yeah. I think what I'm slowly figuring out is that the Texans are going to prove me wrong. That's what I'm starting to feel, because that was a great win from them yesterday.
Yeah,
that really was a great win. All season the talk has been about their offensive line. All of a sudden, Watson's getting rid of the ball. He's taking off with the ball. He's getting protection. It's not great, but it's a little better than what it's been. And they got their wide receivers are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a pretty big win by them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I still can't get the taste out of my mouth from that loss to Jacksonville 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I said it then. I said the Texans are the best 2-2 team in the league, and I said they're the worst 2-2 team in the league. They're the best team because they have the best personnel. They're the worst because their play calling is terrible and they just lay an egg just that you just can't even see coming.
No.
And at 4-2, I'm not ready to change that statement. I think they're the best 4-2 team in the league, and I think they're the worst 4-2 team in the league. For the same exact reason. I still don't trust Bill O'Brien, and I don't trust that offensive line.
What if someone were to tell you Deshaun Watson was going to be MVP this year? Do you give them a chance?
Based on
do you if Deshaun Watson was Patrick Mahomes on the right, it hit exactly.
If he had Mahomes' cachet.
Yeah.
Right. Because Mahomes has a lot of cachet.
Yeah, whatever. Cashews, cachet. Yeah. And right, he was like MVP, right? Leader or whatever. Would that change your mind?
No, because at the end of the day, part of what makes me believe in Patrick Mahomes is who's the coach?
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid. And part of what makes me nervous with Deshaun Watson and the Texans in general is Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien and Dan Quinn are the same guy. The only difference is Bill O'Brien has a little more talent, and they're 4-2. But make no mistake about it, they're the same guy. And Dan Quinn's going to be out of a job quick.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn may not make it till the end of the season.
I'm surprised.
After that egg they laid with Arizona.
I'm surprised he made it this far. To be honest with you, I would have fired his ass after 28-3.
Yeah. Which is the most surprising of those three teams that have not won since their undefeated starts?
It's got to be the Cowboys. There's too much talent on that team. Losing to the Jets alone, that makes it the worst. I don't think the Rams are that good. I think that offense is just not what everybody, even probably me, expected it to be. And I think the Chiefs will be all right. If they have a healthy Mahomes, if he can, I don't know when their bye week is, but if he can rest up that ankle a little bit.
I was going to say, is he healthy?
No,
I don't feel like he is.
I don't think he is. And if depends on who they're on a short week and they play Denver. I mean, I would be almost tempted to say if it was somebody else, you just freaking rest him for a week.
That's not an easy game either.
No,
Denver,
it's not going to be.
Denver is the best 2-4 team in the league. And I'm not going to say they're the worst 2-4 team in the league. Remember, they lost 2 games on the last drive of the game.
Yeah.
Last second field goals. So they could very easily be 4-2. To me, the most surprising is the Rams. Remember, as bad as the loss was by the Cowboys to the Jets, the loss by the Rams to the Buccaneers was maybe even worse, right? And when your quarterback puts up a line 9 for 14 for 78 yards, I mean, that's just inexcusable. I can't think of. I just can't think of a scenario where your starting quarterback does that, and you're a team that's coming off of a Super Bowl appearance. Like it makes zero sense.
They got no running game. Gurley is being a girl, and I mean they're just not that good. I'm not really surprised.
They're in big trouble because that division is not easy. You got the Niners at 5-0, and the Seahawks at 5-1 right behind them. So it's not, The
Seahawks caught a break. That tight end Will Disley, he's been having a good season for him. He's not going to be out for a while. It's going to be a short stint on the disabled.
The Seahawks are a good football team.
Yeah,
and Russell Wilson is playing at a very high level.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough road for the Rams. They're now 2 games behind the Seahawks. That's tough. And 2.5 behind the Niners, and the Niners have a win at hand against them. So it's going to be a tough road for them.
Are the 49ers for real?
Look, at 5-0, you have to say they are. And it's hard to figure them out because you don't have a large sample size with Jimmy Garoppolo because he was injured last year.
Yeah, but remember, he played like 7 games
the year before
and
did well. He was like 6-1
and like 3 or 4 game-winning drives.
Yeah. So, but that's still not a big sample size, right? It's 7 games, and so it's hard to figure out if they're for real. But I tell you what, he's playing well. That defense looks sharp. Yeah, I think they're for real. I think it's. I'm to the point right now where I'm ready to dismiss the Rams as a serious contender for that division, and I think it's going to come down to the Niners and the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going to wait to say anything about the 49ers. 5-0 is a very nice start, but I'm not. I'll wait until they've played a good offense, like a real good offense. Then, they play the Saints, they play the Ravens, they play the Packers. That will be, I think, a good test for the Niners. I just don't think they've played a team with a great offense yet.
The other team that I'm interested in your thoughts on, the Eagles. The Eagles are 3-3. That division is kind of weird in general, right? You got the Eagles and the Cowboys at 3-3. I think they're head and shoulders the most talented two teams in that division. But, the Giants are right behind at 2-4, Washington got a win, but it was against Miami, so I'm not going to place any stock in that. But the Eagles look like they're just in a rut. It doesn't seem like anything is falling their way, and they just look like they're stuck in neutral.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about the Eagles. I'm really not. I think Wentz is getting the short end of the stick here with the receivers. It feels like the receivers have short hands because they can't catch a freaking ball. They're dinosaurs and T-Rexes, as Ed is demonstrating right
Alligator arms.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't reach out and catch this ball.
I think the Eagles would be fine. I'm not too worried about them when you have a quarterback like Wentz. Listen, if their biggest problem is receivers not catching footballs, that can be fixed at any time. The Cowboys, on the other hand, they have internal issues where Garrett is on the sideline, and the players are coming and he's wanting to give high fives and they're going right past him. That's an internal issue.
There's a motivation issue there,
that
right?
That is spilling over into the playing field, and apparently now he's calling the plays. I think the first 2 weeks, the guy Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, was calling the plays. So they have
There's
issues.
a little more turmoil there. I think I agree with you. It's a shame too because that 3-0 start, they look good. I know it was against easier opponents, but they look like maybe they were going to do something, and now they're at 3-3, and they look like the team I thought they were going to be last year, 8-8.
And look, the Giants, if they put on their freaking big boy pants, they could compete. If Daniel Jones takes his head out of his ass just for a little bit, not force the ball. I mean, one game back, that's
that's nothing.
That's not bad because I think the Eagles are the best team in that division, but I don't think right now they're not like head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah.
Maybe head and shoulders above the Redskins. I don't think they're that much better than the Giants are, but they're better than them. And they're not that much better than the Cowboys, but they're better than them.
Yeah. I said it before the season started. I thought they were the most talented team in the league in that division. But I'm just waiting to see it because at this point, we really haven't seen it. And next week will be a real interesting matchup because you got the Eagles playing the Cowboys.
And I love what what's his name? Doug Peterson came out and said today. He said we're gonna go to Dallas and we're gonna win.
Yeah.
I mean, and yes, I don't expect him to say we're gonna go to Dallas and put up an egg. No, but the fact that he came out and said that is the type of coach that Dallas wishes Jason Garrett was.
Well, and what he's doing is he's taking, all of a sudden today, no one is talking about the fact that Kirk Cousins hung 38 on them.
Right.
No one's talking about Zach Brown running his mouth before the game and then not wanting to talk about it after the game, which, in my opinion, real bitch move. All of a sudden, no one's talking about them being 3-3. No one's talking about the receivers. Now, the only thing we're talking about today is Doug Peterson said they're going to beat the Cowboys. That's bulletin board material. What are the Cowboys? How are the Cowboys going to respond? Blah, blah, blah. And I think it's a genius move on his part to take some of that pressure off of his team because there's a lot of negatives to talk about with the Eagles, but no one's going to talk about it now. Everyone's going to talk about the positives.
That's right.
Or the controversy of his statement.
Yeah.
Did he guarantee it like Joe Namath?
He should.
I guarantee it.
Go Pete Rose and bet on the Eagles.
Here's my question. When you guarantee it, what does that mean? Like, are you going to give people their money back? Their money back. So, like, if I go to Vegas and I put down $20 on the Eagles money line and they lose, he guaranteed it. Is he going to give my $20 back?
No, that's your dumbass fault for listening to him.
The whole guarantee thing sounds kind of silly to me.
For letting Doug Peterson hype you up.
Hey, so is anyone left on the Browns bandwagon? Anyone? Are there any Cleveland fans out there?
Hello.
Testing. 1, 2.
Ed doesn't hear very well. We need you to speak up a little louder.
Browns fans, where are you? What? Huh? Tweet.
Yeah, you know what? It's almost to the point where I feel bad for them. I really do, because it's really not their fault. It's
It's the media's fault.
It's the media's fault.
They got overhyped by one acquisition. They got overhyped by the acquisition of OBJ. And quite frankly, remember, they gave up Peppers on the other side. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
So whereas people think, oh, we got Odell Beckham, it wasn't a free agency thing. It was a trade. You gave away a good piece. And I think the media just ran with the whole Odell Beckham because the media loves to talk about Odell Beckham and forgot that they gave up a really good safety in Jabril Peppers. And look, this is still a young team with a new coach. I think they're exactly where they ought to be. If they can improve throughout the season, then they're going to be all right. Maybe they're not going to go to the Super Bowl like some people talked about. Maybe they're not going to be overhyped like that. But maybe they'll make a playoff run. Maybe they'll even make the playoffs. There's a possibility for them in that division because that division is not great. But people that were talking Super Bowl, that was just media hype. Yeah. Y'all fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. And Freddie Kitchens is the other problem. I don't know, he doesn't, I don't know the freaking guy. But
he doesn't inspire you.
He doesn't look like he's a playoff caliber coach or anything like that. I think Baker Mayfield can be good, but he's not there yet.
No, he needs a little more season.
I would take
just like Daniel Jones.
I would take Tebow over Baker Mayfield. That's right.
For one season, maybe. For the long haul, probably not.
Maybe.
I still find it amazing that Tebow and Kaepernick can't get a job in the NFL.
Well,
I find it...
Kaepernick doesn't surprise me. But
I find it offensive that these 32 NFL owners have decided that Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick are not in the top 64. Not even 96. Just starting quarterback and backup. That they're not in the top 64 men on this planet that can play quarterback. I find it insulting in different ways, right? The Kaepernick thing, I think, is... And actually...
Maybe teams don't want that distraction.
That I was just going to say, they're not insulting in a different way. They're insulting in the same way. Neither one of those guys is wanted because they bring undue attention to their franchise. Because the minute Sam Darnold throws an interception, if Kaepernick's his backup, people are going to start chanting for Kaepernick. The minute Lamar Jackson throws an interception, people are going to be chanting for Tim Tebow. And they don't want that distraction. And I think it's a shame because those guys both, I feel both of those guys deserve to be in the NFL. And quite frankly, I like both guys in terms of what they do on a football field. I don't care what their political views are or social views are. On the field, I like watching both of them play.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they kind of brought this upon themselves by making it public and going out there and speaking about it, and the teams don't want to deal with it, and I can't say I blame them too much.
I don't blame the teams.
I mean, whatever. I'm not missing them. Like, it's not like if Mike Vick was, or I don't know. It's not like if it was Tom Brady or somebody. I mean, it's Kaepernick and Tebow. I mean, Kaepernick is a slightly better quarterback than Tim Tebow. Man, Tebow plays two sports. I'm not missing him.
Tebow's making no... he's making no effort to get back in the NFL, so I have less of a problem with him not being in there. But Kaepernick's still working out and contacting teams. And
well, you can go play with Vince McMahon in the XFL.
He hate me.
Can't wait to break down the XFL.
That's what his jersey would say. Yeah. He hate me.
Or they hate me.
The NFL hates me. NFL hate me.
Yeah.
How funny would that be?
So who's the first team to lose? The last of the unbeatens? The Patsies, or the 49ers? The 40-winers.
I mean, on paper, you have to think it'd be the 49ers, but I don't know who they play next. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I would say 49ers too.
Let's see, the Patriots. Let's see what's coming up next week. So in week 7, you've got the 49ers at the Redskins. They're not going to lose.
Trap game.
And that's not a trap game. A trap game, the other team has to be like at least mediocre.
It depends who the Pack.
And the Pats have to go to the Jets.
After that?
No, that's week 7.
Oh.
So neither one of them is going to lose next week.
Who do the 49ers play?
Week 8, it'll be... The Panthers go to San Francisco.
Oh, that's a trap. See?
That's a trap game to me,
Yeah,
right?
that
At
could be a trap
home,
game.
and the Panthers are not bad. And the Browns go to the Patriots. That's not a trap game because Bill Belichick will eat Baker Mayfield up like nobody's business. So I'm going to say the 49ers. I'm going to call it right now. The Panthers are going to beat them.
Shit, now that you mention the Panthers, is Cam Newton. If Cam Newton is ready to play by, say, week 11, and they are, what's the Panthers' record?
4-2. Let's
say they are 3 more wins. They are 7-4. Do you bring in Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
If he's healthy.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm saying.
If he's 100%
right,
healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes. He's still the best quarterback that team has. Now, the Patriots are going to lose the week after that. They go to Baltimore. So, it could be the Patriots first because they'll lose in Baltimore. If the Niners can get by Carolina, the next week they play Arizona.
Baltimore can't beat the Patriots for nothing.
Well, they're a decent team. 4-2.
Yeah, they're decent. Decent will beat the Patriots.
Look, it's a long season. It's hard to go 16-0. So
no, it's not.
It's only happened twice. Well, actually, it's only happened once. The other team went 14-0 in the regular season. They eventually made it to 16-0 and 17-0, but
true.
What else you got?
I have nothing else.
That's it?
I have nothing.
Well, folks, if you'd like to reach out to the show and share your football and or baseball thoughts or really any thoughts with us, we don't care. We love the interaction. You can reach the show via email, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of this guy, how do they do that?
At Brooklyn Gaucho 1 on Twitter.
That's right.
Something like that.
And on Twitter, you can reach me as well at eMontana21. Do you have a shout out?
Nah. No shout out.
We do this show every week.
I don't have a shout out, man. There's nobody to shout out. Who did something great? I can't even think. I don't have a shout out.
Not even the Redskins who held on.
No, I'm not.
To win a hard-fought 17-16.
No, I'm not shouting them out for now becoming the second pick in the draft.
The Dolphins are on their way.
For you to get a shout out from me, you have to do something
amazing.
You gotta save babies in a fire.
You gotta go to the moon and back.
You have to bench press a car.
You have to do something that no man has ever done before.
Lick his asshole. See?
I wish my hearing was gone right there.
That's a what the fuck moment.
Yeah. No, he's got to do something that never in the history of man has been done before, which is why my shout out
I know where you're going.
Goes to Eliud Kipchoge, the greatest marathoner living today, on Saturday in Vienna, Austria, in a special event, not a sanctioned marathon.
Wait, where was this?
Vienna, Austria.
Oh.
Eliud Kipchoge ran 26.2 miles. 26 miles, 385 yards, the marathon distance in 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 40 seconds. The only man to ever run a marathon in less than 2 hours. Absolutely incredible endeavor. Just amazing to watch.
It wasn't in Chicago? I thought it was the Chicago guy.
No, the Chicago Marathon was on Sunday. And that is a normal sanctioned event, which brings me to my second shout out, which goes to Bridget Kosgei. I hope I'm saying that right. She won the women's marathon in Chicago on Sunday in a new world record time of 2:14.04. She bested the women's marathon record by 1 minute and 20 seconds. So hats off to her as well. A really a big weekend in running. For those of you that are fans of running, it was a big deal. The two obviously the special marathon that Eliud Kipchoge ran, and also the Chicago Marathon yesterday. Also, a couple weeks ago we had a very high-profile coach get banned for 4 years. Nike shut down his project, the Oregon project that's called. There are a lot of people, a lot of elite athletes from his team competing in Chicago. So it was just there was a lot of buzz in the running world this weekend, which I know maybe most people don't keep up with. Obviously, I do, being a runner. But it was an interesting weekend. But hats off to Eliud Kipchoge and Bridget Kosgei. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not, but
Butcher her name, why don't you?
But just fantastic efforts. Really amazing what they did. 4:34 a mile for 26 miles. It's just insane. Just insane. To keep your legs moving that fast, it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the Bridget Kosgei lady, she had pacers. They went out at a ridiculous pace. Like, they went out at 2:13 pace. And she basically said, I'm going to run fast, and I'm going to run fast for as long as I can. I'm going to hold on if I have to. And she ended up running pretty even splits, 107 on the front and then like 107.04 on the back, which just incredible that she just put herself out there on a, not the easiest course in the world, and broke the world record.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty amazing. With that, we've come to the end of episode 96 of the Positive Sports Podcast. Famous 96?
Oh,
I can't think of it.
I can't think of one. I'm
some
defensive end from 1970. Purple Eaters.
The Purple People Eaters?
We didn't talk about the Vikings. The Vikings, they just needed, that one little, turbulence to shape up to put up some points. And
after the first couple of weeks, they've played well.
Yeah.
So, no famous 96. Sorry if you wore number 96. I apologize that we did not remember you, but
I don't. You just must have not been good enough.
I'm damn near 50. That's my excuse. As always, folks, catch us on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, whatever floats your boat, however you consume your podcasts. Catch us on there. And as always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.